That's great. And then I'll share the recording. All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to the demo for Torus Sprint 30.3, Cash Me If You Can. This was a 2-week sprint that ran from January 20th to January 31st. And during this sprint, the developer and QA teams completed a total of 16 tickets with 11 bugs, 4 stories, and 1 task. Today, the team will be sharing some foundational work on the certificates epic and new work on the bulk and activity import in the questions bank. So I'm going to hand it over to Raphael. He's going to start us off with a short demo of his work with a new feature for the question bank, and then we will have Martine sharing a walkthrough of the certificates work. So with that, I will hand it over to Raphael.
Thank you. Mine is a really quick demo just to show that this new feature exists. Can anybody see the screen?
Yes.
Am I sharing? Yes. Okay. So if you access as an author and you go to the create the activity bank, you'll see it takes a while to load on my local system. Always the case for some reason. All right. Yeah, within the activity bank, the new under the menu, there's a new item there, bulk import from CSV, and you can basically browse for a file that contains the predefined questions. And I'll eventually show you how the templates, the kind of template you're using, and what the requirements are. And you can hit import. Basically, that imports all the questions in the question bank. And it tells you how many of them it has imported. You can undo undo the last import. You can undo that. That completely clears what we had just imported. And I can go ahead, and you are limited to only import 200 questions at a time. So if you try to import a very huge one, it'll let you know the maximum questions you can import is 200 at a time. And this is a link to the template we are using that is required by any other when they're crafting the questions. All these fields are required whenever you're creating any other type of questions that are supported. There is a limited set of questions that you can import right now, and we have the multiple choice. Choose all that apply: ordering, numbering, number, text, and paragraph, and math. So these are the set of question that you can create in bulk on a spreadsheet, and then bulk import into Torus. And you have to follow this template. Otherwise, the importer will complain that there's a missing field or something like that. Some of the fields are, of course, don't make sense in some of these question types, but those ones you can just leave blank. That's pretty much it. Any questions?
I don't have questions. I just wanted to say I'm super excited that you built this, Raphael, and it looks like you did, a really thoughtful job. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
And I think let's go ahead and save questions until we get through the certificates demo, and then we'll just have a big question at the end. And I think we have a couple that are in the chat already, but we'll save that for the end. But thank you, Raphael.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing now. Nice.
Sorry, I was muted. Let me know if you can see my screen. I don't know if you have to give me permission, Lisa.
No, you're good. I can see it. We can hear you. Everything's great.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to show the certificate features, at least the pages we have made with Gaston and Fran. The workflow starts here when you go to a product. You can then, among the other options, you can see that you will have now the certificate settings link, so you can manage those certificate settings. Well, here you can enable or disable if you want that product to have certificates. In this case, well, in the first tab, you can set a number of required discussion posts or required class notes in order for the student to, when automatically reaches that point, will generate a certificate for it. There is a caveat that you can also select if in order to a certificate be generated, you need an instructor approval or not. This can be also set very easily by clicking this checkbox. And there are two types of certificates that implemented is the certificate of completion, and the certificate with distinction. Both thresholds can be set here. There is like I think a warning if you try to save a page with a certificate with distinction that is lower than the certificate of completion. And the most important thing is that you can also require which specific sections or questions or pages you want to select for earning a certificate. You can select all, or you can select a custom one. That's as you wish. Then we have the design page for where you can customize which fields you want in your certificate. In this case, the default is a section title, but you can update any field, and you can also input which administrators you want to be generated in your certificate. You can have up to 3, but there is not. Only one is required. For example, and you can also choose which logos you want to appear in the certificate. This will be saved, and you can also, if you want to update the certificate, you can also change every part of this. Every input here can be updated if you want to update your certificate. And here, well, we have right now is an only button, but in the future work will be that you can preview without saving the certificate. But it's just for now. This when you save and preview, you will see that how your certificate is gonna look. The certificate is for the completion one. You can see the logos. You can see how it's going to look, and then you have the certificate with distinction in case the students is granted the certificate with distinction because he passed that threshold. Also, there is a certificate ID here. In this case, it's just zeros because it's just a preview. But then when those certificates are granted, that same certificate is going to be generated in PDF, and it will be stored so anyone can access that and check if that certificate has been granted by OLI or the other or the issuer. Here you can see, for example, we have some certificates we have already been issued. You can search by student name, by who issued it, and this is for example, the unique ID for each certificate. This is the global identifier that the student can then send a link, and everyone can see if he has earned a certificate or not. And you can search by student name or by instructor name. It cannot be an instructor. It can also be a an author that issued the certificate in case it has the certificate that this requiring structural approval checkbox set. And you can also download CSVs for this all the granted certificates for you to easily access and import where you need. And I think that's maybe, Fran, sorry, and Gaston, I did very fast, but maybe if I'm missing something, you can also let me know. But this is the main workflow that the author will see in order to be able to generate certificates for a product. After that, when the student reaches a point, I don't know, finishes a graded page that enables the student to be granted a certificate, it will automatically be included in the credentials issue. And when that is done, there will be, as a PDF will be generated, it will be stored in our servers. So when if the user wants to share it on LinkedIn, on email, he sends the link, and any person, it will be a public link, can see the certificate issued. Yeah, and that's it for the certificate settings flow. Let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Martin. Yeah, Fran or Gaston, is there anything else you want to add, or are we ready to switch over to questions?
No, I think Martin covered most of the
Awesome.
most important features here.
Great. And then Martin, you were still sharing your screen.
No, sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah, great. I'd like to open it up for questions. It looks like we have a couple questions in chat. So Caitlin had a couple questions for Raphael. Caitlin, would you like to ask those?
Yeah, so for the sheet, I'm wondering first, is there a required file type that it has to save at, and which fields are required?
CSV file. It's a CSV file, and all of the fields are required to be there. Just you can for the type of question you're crafting, you don't need to fill in anything for that particular field. Just leave it blank.
Okay. Can you send me that so that I can work on some documentation, just the spreadsheet,
Sure.
around it?
Sure. Can you copy paste it? I'm gonna put it in a chat.
Then, Caitlin, do you have any other additional questions for Raphael, or does anyone have any other questions for Raphael? Take silence to be ready to switch over for questions about certificates. So, Kim, you've got sounds like you've got a couple questions. Would you like to ask your question that's in chat about thresholds?
Sure. I maybe just didn't have enough time to look at all the details on the thresholds page. I saw discussions and I saw notes, whatever they are. And then I also saw the option to add scores for either all or some of the graded pages. Is there any way to include the completion of practice pages or progress indicators in the certificate?
I know the initial requirement was for only to include graded pages, but I think it's possible to expand it to practice pages.
Yeah, at the moment, no. It's just for scored.
Okay, thank you. I'm just keeping it in mind when people ask, I can at least kind of give an idea of, the first focus is on the graded pages.
And then we have a question about, oh, Caitlin, looks like you've got a question about what you'd like to see. Caitlin, do you have questions about certificates, or do you would just like feature expansion suggestions?
I think, yeah, they're mostly feature requests.
Mhm.
Like, I would love to see choosing pages just like, oh, can you check all my graded pages for me? And then I'd also love to see in the future, I know, not right now. Wait, what was the other thing I wrote?
I think you wrote about
The
LinkedIn.
share button, when you click for like, they mentioned LinkedIn, and just like a post to LinkedIn button would be nice.
Yeah, and that's documented because a lot of certificate things have that. It's just out of scope for right now.
Yeah, they're feature requests.
Do we have any other questions for the development team?
I joined a little late, so I apologize if this was covered, but was this shown from the student perspective, the certificate sort of requirement list? How do you know what is required and what your current state is? Was that shown?
No.
Okay. Is that coming as part of the full release?
It should be. If I don't know if someone wants to answer this, like I don't know what the status of it is right now, but the design includes that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this was just covering the views for admin and authors
Okay.
for setting the certificate settings for those views. We are currently working on adding permissions to see these pages for instructors on sections, but it will be like a read-only view, so they won't be able to edit. They will just see these thresholds and all the data, the settings.
Okay.
And yeah, I know the students' views are coming too.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, this demo really covered a lot of the foundational work that the team has been doing for certificates that will then be expanded into more detailed, more stuff. Did that answer your question, Hal?
Thank you.
Great. And then Kim,
Yes, thanks.
okay, great. Then Kim, you have a question around just like timing. So when is the sprint going into production? We are halfway through our second to last sprint. So we have 3 more sprints that we will be working on new development work, or 3 more weeks, excuse me, 3 more weeks of development work for certificates. And then we will be going into code freeze at the beginning of March. So I believe we are aiming for version 30 to be released, I believe like that last week of March. Amanda, is that correct? The last full week of March.
April 7th.
April 7th is when so soon. But yeah. So that's when all of the certificates goodies will be in production. All right, do we have any other questions for the dev team? All right. Well, I will share this recording, and if anyone has any other questions, you can always feel free to reach out, and we will follow up with you. All right. Well, thank you all so much for coming, and that is the end of our demo. I'm going to stop recording.